Welcome to the Happy Pawdcast, your one-stop space for all things pets, paws and parenting with heart. मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट सोनाली बेंद्रे और ये है आईसी बहल. Right from helping students overcome their fear of reading in front of a class to providing support needed for specially abled children. In this transformative episode, we explore the origin of this powerful approach and where it's headed. और आज हमारे साथ है तुषार कपूर, एक एक्टर, प्रोड्यूसर and a graduate from the University of Michigan. From caring for his dog, as we can see, Munchkin is here, to raising his son. ये सच में पेरेंटिंग को पूरे मन और दिल से मास्टर कर चुके हैं. We also have with us Subhadra Cherukuri, एक सर्टिफाइड canine behaviorist और डॉग ट्रेनर, और साथ ही में वो एक थेरेप्यूटिक हॉर्स राइडिंग इंस्ट्रक्टर भी है. I have a lot of questions for Subhadra because she runs a very interesting place called Wag-Ville. Can you tell us more about Wag-Ville?
So Wag-Ville is based in Bangalore, and we are a dog resort along with being a therapeutic riding center, as well as a place where we have therapy dogs too, which work along with children and with adults as well.
Okay.
So this is what we do out there.
So when you say therapy, horse riding also, what does that mean?
Well, so there are a lot of things that we can do with horses in terms of helping children who have special needs, right from autism to Down syndrome to depression and ADHD and things like this. So basically what we do is we combine horse riding and other activities that involve horses with specially designed activities for children and adults with these issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And also because you do it with the horses, but definitely there's a lot of approach with where you use dogs in schools.
Absolutely.
And in
Yes.
where you don't have to have a specially abled child, but even normal children in various ways. You've used dogs as therapy animals, as educational. Sorry for using the word, but can I use the word tools? Educational tools in that sense?
Absolutely,
Where it helps them with education, reading, learning challenges?
So using animals as both therapy, in both therapeutic settings as well as educational settings helps in various ways. It helps when it comes to therapy. I think a lot of us have already heard a little about how animal assisted therapy works. It
Yes.
helps people get over certain issues, especially like when
Mental
they
health.
mental health to a large extent.
Yeah.
Now, we use horses because actually the movement on horseback can help sort out a lot of neurological issues
Oh,
in the
really?
body. Yeah, and it helps with the vestibular balance, with opening up other vestibular issues, which in turn actually help with speech therapy as well. And
What?
yes, and we also create a lot of activities which involve both horses and dogs too, which can even help them come around cognitive issues.
You have horses and dogs, and you use both of them for the therapy that, as therapy animals, if I
Yeah.
can call it that. How do they interact with you? Are they natural partners, or is it difficult, or do they need to be given time with each other? How does it work?
So we don't very often get the dogs and the horses both working, together at the same time, because it can be quite overwhelming for the children as well, or for the
Okay.
people that we are working with. Okay, it's all in the same place, the way the place I function from in Bangalore.
So,
But,
where you function from, where the horses and dogs are used to each other and they hang out with
Yes, so my dogs are used to the horses because they kind of, live around the and spend a lot of time around the
Correct.
stables as well. And so are the horses. We've kind of gotten used to them, having a lot of dogs around because we involve them in various, programs together. But we kind of design activities where the individuals can work separately with the horses and separately with the dogs.
Okay, so when
Yeah.
you said you design the programs, what do you mean by that? I mean,
So it all depends on what kind of challenges we are dealing with. Okay, so sometimes it is with groups of people or groups of children, sometimes it's with individuals. So we try to first understand what challenges these individuals actually have.
Okay.
Okay, let me take an example. If there is a youngster or a child with autism who's on the autism spectrum. Now, as we know, autism is a spectrum. You can have, various different kinds of challenges. Now, if this particular child has cognitive issues and has proprioception issues.
Okay, I understand cognitive, but what
Yes.
is
So, proprioception.
Okay,
Yeah.
proprioception. I've
Yes.
never heard this
So
word.
proprioception, to put it simply, is basically your own sense of your own body's balance and how your body functions. Okay, so to give you an example, if either of you have ever tried to play football or just randomly kick around a football, for us normal people, that you put the football there, you lift your leg, you put a little pressure with your leg, and you can move the ball around. Okay, or you can move the ball in a direction that you want. For somebody with proprioceptive challenges, what happens is they do not know exactly how much pressure to put, or how to move their limb in a way to make that move. Okay, so another example could be.
So how would sorry but to interrupt, but how would a horse help in that?
Now, so when you put a person like this on a horse, now just the movement on horseback, when the person is just walking with a horse in a walking gait. When I say walking gait, it's not trotting, it's not galloping, it's just walking. So the way the horse's body moves actually helps with regulating the entire neurosystem of the human body and helps with building the balance and the proprioception, and actually the movement of the horse transfers to
Are you
the regular.
serious?
Yes, absolutely.
That's so
And
amazing.
The whole rhythm, right?
Yeah.
the entire rhythm
But
of
who
it.
would think that, I mean, I always knew horse riding or even on it was a rhythm, but who would knew that helped the nervous system? That's
Because
that.
it's I'm looking at it as if that there's a certain pattern in which the horse gallops, so trots,
Yes.
and then the child probably picks
Also,
up.
is it because it's the tailbone and maybe
It's the
some
tailbone,
nerve
it's the
endings?
entire neurosystem. In fact, there are videos that would show you when a person is just seated on a horse, okay, and the way the horse's body sways while it's walking, it's the closest to anything that can come naturally to the way a normal human body would sway.
Oh, really?
Okay, so the
But
movement
we
of
are
the horse
two-legged and
kind
they're
of,
four-legged.
they are four-legged, but that's the way the gait of the horse, the way the body moves, is actually the closest thing that can come to a normal human body. So that
So
actually
you're giving
gets
them
transferred.
muscle memory and
Exactly, that's
Those
exactly
motor
what's
skills, yeah.
happening. Yeah.
amazing.
And when people are walking, another example I can give you, when they're seated on a horse and walking, it opens up a lot of vestibular issues in the body, which, one of the things that a lot of individuals on the autism spectrum can suffer from is speech issues.
Yes.
So some of them can be the non-verbal, some of them, can be verbal, but, with certain challenges with
Right.
it. And when it opens up these vestibular issues, it in turn helps with any other speech therapy that they are actually undergoing.
Wow.
Okay, just the same way that you would, take them into a clinical setting and, teach them to, blow,
Yes, absolutely.
bubbles, blow balloons to help with
To help
improving
with
the
muscles
voice
around
and
the,
all
yeah,
of
the
that.
tongue
It
control.
actually opens up various other vestibular issues in the body, which helps with all of this.
Fantastic. I'm telling you, every time I do this podcast, I learn something new. I'm so excited.
Nothing like coming close to nature, no? Nature
Absolutely.
eventually is the
Yeah.
best cure for everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the thing is, we are so alienated today from nature that we, have to specifically go out there and, look for activities like this. Whereas in the past, what happened
It
is
was more
people worked a
natural.
lot with animals. Everyone lived with
Yeah,
animals and
yeah.
just, got all
It
of
was-
these
we
naturally.
didn't even
Yeah.
Only
realize.
thing is that in the past we didn't have definitions like the
For
autism
it,
spectrum.
Precisely.
So there's a pro and con to everything, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I probably, if there was a challenge and they would say that, okay, he likes working with the animals more, let him work with the animals more. And it was
Or
just
they would
more
just
organic,
categorize
maybe.
children as being different, and now at least you respect the fact that they have to be mainstreamed.
Exactly.
we
and I
don't-
think we understand a lot
we don't
more.
seclude
as
them
well.
or we don't separate them from.
But you know that also because the more research and science comes into it, it always gives you a structure to help with the problem
Correct.
rather than just go. A lot of times, great work can be done with intuition also. But when you can kind of reach for it with some sort of a research backing, it kind of helps you do with the thing. But
Absolutely.
anyway, like
Yeah.
like I said, great topic and like an extremely
Sensitive issue today.
sensitive issue, also a difficult one because it takes a lot of skill. But now, like every parent is not dealing with very sensitive issues like this. There are normal issues also, and that's where I will come to you as a pet parent. How has it being a parent to a pet helped you with your parenting, your son?
Firstly, I didn't want to have this pet. It was
Oh,
a
then please, before you tell us that, tell us the story of how did you have it? Have you had pets as a
always
child?
had a pet. Yeah, I've always been a dog lover and always
Yeah.
had a pet.
Yeah, you've always had pets.
Yes, always
Yeah.
from childhood. It's only when I had my son and I moved out into my own place, right
Which
next
is
to
right
yours.
next. Yes.
That's when my parents suggested that I get a pet so that they believe and we all believe that
Yeah.
it builds empathy within children.
Absolutely, I agree.
Because he doesn't have a sibling.
Yes.
So
IC came in as Ranveer's sibling.
So Munchkin would have, now he's the sibling, so my parents suggested that. And they were saying, do le lo, that they can be playing with one another. And
Right.
the pet can also have a sibling of his own kind. But I was against it, thinking that I'll be now in an apartment. How am I
Yeah.
going to manage it? And,
Yeah.
they litter all over and tear the sofa and bite this and bite that.
They
And
don't do that.
though I've always loved pets,
Yeah.
I was just being lazy about it. Somehow they managed to convince me and I managed to convince him that we'll have only one.
Okay.
So mom got this pet from one of her friends, and how he has helped me become a pet parent is the fact that I feel like he has more company now that I'm not home, and he's not so insecure about a sibling anymore. When my nephew came into the world, my son was becoming a little antsy, a little agitated, a little insecure, and of course we were working it out, and it was not uncontrollable or anything, but it was just a minor issue.
Yeah.
But I think with the pet coming in now, he's used to sharing affection.
Yeah.
Even when Munchkin came in, actually, for the first few months or even a year, Munchkin is so smart that he would jump and sit in my godi even before Laksh would come to me after he's finished his dinner.
Right.
Children usually come to their
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
and they would chat before they go
Yeah.
to bed or whatever. And Munchkin would come there and just say, no, this is my space first. I'm sitting with dad first.
And how did he react to that?
He used to go and complain to my parents that he said that I don't want Munchkin, take him back.
Ooh.
He's not letting me, and he used to come and tell me also, he's not letting me spend time with
So
you.
then how did you deal with that, and what did you do to kind of get them?
I used to try and calm Laksh down and say that, okay, I understand what you're feeling, it's normal. But just because I'm loving Munchkin also, it doesn't mean I love you any lesser. And just because I'm giving him time doesn't mean I won't be giving you time. So why
Right.
are you feeling like you're losing out on something? You will get your share of affection. So be secure about that.
And he has his share. So just understanding that
It took
by
a while.
sharing love is not going to be less, it's only going to grow.
It's only
That's
going to grow.
Yeah.
And now he can't do without him. And now he doesn't even care if Munchkin.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, you can.
I think he's more interested in Munchkin than anybody else now.
Now he's more interested in football more than anything else. His
Yeah,
football
yeah.
is his best friend. And he's rather like, okay, Munchkin, take dad. Get him off my back too. I think that's an age appropriate.
That's a sibling thing to do. That oh, the parent is asking me too many things, but he's busy with Munchkin. I get to do what I want.
So,
Yeah.
but those years he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't like it if I was traveling. Also, he wouldn't like it if I was spending too much time with Munchkin. Also, but now he's secure. So he's like, okay, he's not even answering my question. I'm like, Laksh, I'm back. Hi, I'm back home.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
So
you felt that he became more secure after having Munchkin around.
So now he got used to the fact that, okay, he doesn't have to be the whole and soul of
Right.
all the attention in the house. And even if he doesn't get it, doesn't
Yeah.
mean he's any lesser or any less important.
Yeah.
But I think you can just talk to your children, or you can
Yeah.
have a pet.
Also, Laksh came after so long, and he was the first child, and usually you find that first child, everybody's attention is on the child.
So it's
that
good that he
happens.
has this little, little hurdle, a little curveball in his life, and
yeah.
everything not going perfect.
Yeah.
And then they have to figure it out themselves. I think children, the best growth is when they hear from us,
Yeah.
but they deal with their issues themselves. So I
That's
guess
true.
Munchkin helped me deal
Yeah.
with this issue. Maybe not directly, but indirectly.
Yeah, that's the whole point, that that we use animals, and how do we do it? not directly but indirectly, but more into the education field. Tushar is very passionate about what is the kind of education that Lakshya is going to get. And we had a lot of conversations about it, schooling and how is it going to work and how is it changed. And he was very conscious of the fact that, you know, I've been educated a certain way and what are my options that are available now. And we've had these conversations. And nobody can predict what are the challenges that are going to come for your child. And what are the new ways and techniques? Like you said, there are now research in which you can label. Sometimes it gets misused, but you know, it's also easier to identify stuff. It gets identified a lot earlier, the learning disabilities or challenges. And you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be a huge big challenge, but even the minor ones can make it easier for the child in the school, rather than the child being like, say, I'm not interested in school. They can be interested in going there. That's where your animals also come in.
Absolutely.
And before I get into how you do that as a parent, would you be open to that kind of a therapy coming into school and have therapy animals who help children with their reading and, you know, general behavior?
Of course, I think they have in the IB education today, IB system today. Of course, they have all kinds of extracurricular activities, not the typical kind that we had in our time.
Absolutely.
But this is like a great innovative way of and, you know, come in rhythm with the universe through the love that they can get from a child and from an animal, the companionship. So I don't know how it works, but I
So
would
how
be open
does
to
it
it.
work? How do you help if there is a reading challenge? How would getting, say, to a Lakshya's class, if there is a child in his class who has a reading challenge, the
Is
whole
it the
class
fear
is
of
sitting there.
performing that is eased out?
See, it of course, you know, the fear of performance. Now, see, somebody with a child with a reading challenge is usually very overwhelmed when they have to, you know, for example, read out loud. And in some cases, the challenge can even be so bad that even just looking at a book would trigger a whole lot of, you know, fear and,
Right.
you know, several other emotions in there.
How does a dog
Now,
help in this?
So when you get a dog into the setting, there is a lot of science behind this. Okay, what happens, you know, when you perhaps meet your son after you've traveled for a few days? You're just happy to see him. You go, you hug him, you feel happy, and the reason you feel happy is because there is a chemical reaction happening inside
Absolutely.
you. Serotonins are setting off.
Yeah,
Okay, and you know, cortisols are actually dropping.
correct.
Okay, now the same thing happens when you have a positive interaction with an animal. A positive interaction, I
Serotonins
would
go
say.
up,
It
cortisol
won't
drops.
obviously happen with somebody who's fearful of dogs or fearful of animals. But yes, so the serotonins go up, cortisols drop. And that's what relaxes the human being.
Okay.
So you have a child here who is getting, you know, a little anxious, a little worked up when, you know, faced with the challenge of having to read something, because reading is, you know, not something he is great at. He is struggling with it. You bring a dog into that setting, automatically what happens is serotonin set off. It just lightens the entire atmosphere for him.
Right.
Okay, and animals, of course, absolutely have, you know, no filters there. They're absolutely non-judgmental.
Yeah.
So it's not a person who's sitting there and, you know, for a
Judging
child,
you when you're trying to
yeah,
read,
the
and
child is
maybe you're
already
not
conditioned that
pronouncing it
humans are going to
correctly.
judge him.
Yeah.
But he knows for sure the dog is not going to judge me.
Yeah.
Okay, so serotonins are going off in the body. All
So
the
if a
happy
child
hormones
has a
are
reading
off.
challenge, is it actually an individual and you sit and they read to a dog first and then you take them into a class environment and a school environment, or it can work both the ways?
It can work both ways. In some cases, for some children, it would work better if it was one-on-one. Okay, in some cases, you know, there might be children with different levels of challenges, some without even any challenges. And, you know, in a group setting, if it is, you know, kind of working well in a group setting, in the sense that if the group is, you know, balanced enough to allow a dog in there, then we would take it into a group setting. So all these things have to be looked at in a very individual manner. You know,
So
you've got
when
to
we
look at
talk
it
about
case
it
by
has to be
case.
looked at in an individual manner. There's definitely a lot of not just thought but science that goes behind it, a lot of training that goes behind it.
Yes.
So how did you get your training to do this? Do you train people to do this? What kind of training is it?
So I've been trained in animal assisted therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also a licensed equine assisted learning practitioner.
Okay.
Okay, and yes, I do train people to train therapy dogs.
Okay.
But unfortunately, in India at the moment, we do not have any courses for animal assisted therapy, though there are a lot online.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a lot of individuals in India who've done their online animal assisted therapy courses,
Okay.
and also work with therapy dogs who've been trained by certified therapy dog trainers. So there is one organization right here in Bombay called Canine Skincare.
Mm-hmm.
This is run by Shirin Merchant.
Mm-hmm.
And I also run programs in Bangalore to train people to train therapy dogs.
So how should we look for certificates, or what are the things that we should look for if we want to use a therapy animal to assist our child? What are the things that we should be looking for?
Oh, well, if you want to use a therapy animal to assist your child, you would need to look for a certified therapy animal. And again, it's Shirin Merchant's institute that actually, does the entire thing of certifying that animal.
Okay.
So a dog can be trained, but
What
also
does
needs
it
to go
take to
through.
certify an animal to be?
It needs to be able to, meet certain criteria.
What are those criteria?
The criteria is actually, it's quite an extensive list.
Okay.
So when it comes to dogs, I will talk about
Let's
dogs
talk
and
about dogs
horses
today, yeah.
separately. Yeah. Okay. There is a lot that goes into horses also, but they're two different animals, so it's different things that we look at. So an ideal therapy dog, okay, should like to be with people, should enjoy being with people, should want to be quite outgoing and really be good around with all kinds of people. So
He should
that,
enjoy it. He or she should
needs to
enjoy
enjoy
doing it, and it should not be
Yes.
a job. for them.
Yes, it shouldn't be a job in the sense that the animal shouldn't get stressed in the environment
Right.
of dealing with different people. Now that is one thing. The animal, we technically bomb-proof dogs. Okay, so in the sense that the dog should not get scared of different sights, different sounds, different different levels of voices from people. Because when you are working with special needs individuals, a child can have a meltdown at any point.
Tushar, you heard about what happens and how animal assisted education can happen. Do you think that you would have liked to have had it when you were in school?
The school system was so different then, and
Yes.
it was so much on rote learning,
Yeah, yeah,
and the teachers with those rulers.
yeah.
And we didn't even have a platform where you would know that an individual child has, say, a fear of performing. I mean, we were in 40s in each
Yeah.
division. So who'd know which child has which issue? So I think it would have not been feasible in those schools at that point of time. I was a shy child. So I did do elocution and I did do some performances, but I was a shy child.
So
So
you
this
think-
could have helped probably.
Yeah, this could have helped.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you think that after this episode, you're a celebrity, people listen to you. Do you think you could advocate this a little bit more, talk about this? Would you feel like doing that?
I
Do
would
you think it
definitely
would
like
help?
to, but I mean, just by the fact that we're talking together on this platform is
yeah.
advocating it, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, and also because Lakshya is at that age, and you are a parent, and like I said, Tushar is a very hands-on parent. So for you to say that, it would have it would carry weight.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to ask you that do you think this would work, and do you think it should be not just for specially abled children, but even in normal schools? Should they have more of animal assisted learning?
For sure, I don't think today there's any such thing as normal and not normal. I think there are, as you said, a spectrum. So even the most normal kids can have some issues.
Oh, nicely
And today
said, yeah.
people who are very sorted are taking therapy.
Yeah,
So there's no benchmark for going for therapy.
that's true. So do you
I-
think this should become part of the curriculum? We should just
It
have
should,
like
they should have these kind of treatments in school. I mean, obviously on an optional level, depending on who needs what, and not so compulsorily.
But sometimes maybe just having that as, you have various, what do you say, periods of various subjects. You just have one session which is once a week or whatever, just the animal comes in and you just do an animal assisted activity.
Exactly.
Would that be something that would help all the kids?
That would help all kids because, see, now the thing is, see, we're talking about animal assisted therapy and then animal assisted learning. But the fact is, the both, tend to cross over and, go
Right.
together a
Yeah.
great deal. Now, when it comes to learning from animals, I think the learning is phenomenal because it's so much of compassion, empathy, and
Yeah.
so many other things that a lot of children can get to learn, which in today's modern day scenario, I don't think they really have that opportunity very much. Like I said,
Especially
we
in
are
the
so
cities,
far.
in the
Yes.
apartments, we're really not that grounded, and this kind of
Exactly.
brings that in.
Yeah.
And it also could be something that becomes a regular part
Yeah,
of.
I feel more than schools. Why does it have to be only restricted to school? Why can't, like, you have a tuition at home with animal assisted therapy?
Yes.
Like, depending on which child needs what, it can be catered to their individual interests at home. Like,
I mean, parents are going for physics tuition, maths tuition, this tuition. This is this is something that they should
maybe
be
some,
thinking
if you
of.
put it
Yeah.
restricted to schools, and some schools will do it, some might not do it, and then it becomes about how they'll have to manage that time with so many
Exactly.
subjects. But if it's coming to your home, then every parent can decide whether they want to do it or not, and they can get individual attention.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm
Because
sure
it
you will
would-
be ready to do that, but like the trainers. But it's about the parents understanding that how important this is. This is not a waste of money. This will help your child, and actually opting for it instead of only maths tuition or
So
English
it's about
tuition.
sensitizing people that these kind of things can actually help in so many ways. It's just a lack of knowledge right now, and not many people really know that this is something that can actually happen.
Do you have people
Okay.
who come to you and say, "Oh, you're making animals do this. It's so inhumane," and
I've had a lot of that happen. And at that time, we actually explained to them how much of the animal's welfare we take care of and keep in mind when constantly at every point. So when we are working with children, either in a school setting, either in a smaller setting where they actually come to our center, they're sitting in the park with the dogs and all of that, we're constantly looking out for signs of stress. Even out there in the riding arena, when we are working with either normal or special needs children, we're constantly looking out for signs of stress from the animal. And that is where, keeping in mind that the animal's welfare also counts. And we will, stop sessions, cut out sessions, use different animals, get, the animal to rest.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we also explain to the children that, this is why we are doing it. This animal needs some downtime, needs
Right.
some rest. And that way also build empathy again in the children.
Correct.
Because this is not something they're constantly or they get to see very often, like
Yeah.
you just said, in urban settings they don't get to interact
But
much.
also like we spoke about in schools, maybe if they could have this more often. That also brings up that as a parent, would you be comfortable if a therapy animal came in and kind of was interacting with the child? There are a lot of things where they're saying that, is it safe for my child? What if my child gets nicked? Something like that. Would you be
I
comfortable?
would be comfortable because I'm a dog lover and I'm a chilled out parent.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I know a lot of parents are not so chilled out. So obviously
Yeah.
there would be issues of permission, etc. They have to call the parent
Yeah,
and
yeah.
take those permissions. But like I said earlier, I feel most of the education happens at home. We blame the school or we praise the school, but I think a lot of what a child can do is also nurtured at home.
Yeah.
And then the school
Very
adds on to it.
So right.
But 70% of the time is spent at home.
Absolutely.
And
You're so
many
right.
kids are fearful of their parents, they're fearful of reading to their parents, they're fearful of, depending on the family setting.
Yes.
So
Very true.
a lot of issues can be sorted out at home
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So maybe actually parents need the therapy more than the children. Is
Parents
that-
need the therapy. Parents need to be sensitized because it's their fear that they pass on to the children, or their lack of knowledge that they pass on to the
Right.
children.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, when agar bachpan se you keep telling a child ki, so this is where I often find the apprehension towards working with a dog is much more than the apprehension with working along with a horse. Now,
Oh, really?
the reason being, it's a strange reason that I realized over time. The reason is, common Indian scenario, everyone says, kutta hai, kutta kaatega. Okay, so for most people who've not really had
Correct.
pets and all of that,
Yeah.
that's, the first thing that comes to them. And when they step out with the children, they see a dog on a leash, or they see a stray dog, and they're like, kutta kaatega, don't go near the kutta.
Correct. You're putting the
Okay.
fear into the child.
Yeah, but then what happens with horses is people don't commonly see horses, roaming the streets or in your backyard.
And I suppose the
So
size
that
you
learned fear has
automatically
not
stay
yet
away.
happened.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when they, come in for either learning sessions or therapeutic sessions with horses, we then, get a chance to actually sensitize the parents and, tell them that, okay, so these are horses that have been, specially selected, specially trained.
Has there ever been like, or if something happens, sometimes an animal can act out, like you said, they do get stressed too, or sometimes a child can act out. What happens then?
So yes, we do have children acting out a lot.
Okay.
Again, it depends on what kind of challenge they have, and sometimes even normal children can act
Yes,
out.
absolutely.
That happens very often.
They're tired,
But
they're
then-
hungry, they're sleepy,
yeah.
they're coming down with something. It's just the most normal thing.
Yeah, but then our animals are trained to such an extent that they are absolutely neutral to it, and nothing really happens out there. Nothing has happened, at least.
Yeah.
On the other hand, because we are trained to look for signs of stress in the animal before an incident actually happens, we kind of, move the animal away. Stress can happen at any time. Anything can happen at any time. So we are constantly, we've got to have our, eyes and ears open every minute when we are working along with children and animals. And I'm not just talking about, doing it as, therapy on learning, but even when it comes to just being a riding instructor,
Right.
I constantly have to be, watching
I think
for
it's
what
more
is
important for
happening.
the child. Obviously, it's important for the child to calm down with the company of an animal.
Yeah.
But I think the real test is when the child acts up or reacts and he does not have an adverse reaction. There is no adverse reaction. That's when the
Yes.
child really calms down.
Comes
It's
round
not-
and says that I can do this.
That
and this
even
is-
if I screw up or even if I
Yeah.
make a blunder,
Yeah,
there's
it's
going to
fine.
be no adverse reaction.
no
Yeah.
judgment
Yeah.
on it.
That's when they
Yes.
really calm down for the next time.
Yeah, that is a.
We have some amazing, very heartening things that happen. Every year, every school year, we get new batches of school children coming in. And some of them may have never interacted with any animal before in their lives.
Right.
You see them coming for sessions of our classes every week. 3 weeks down the line, a child who, when he first started out with the academic year, was extremely frightful of anything that wasn't human. Okay? 3 weeks down the line, without anyone asking him, without anyone prompting him, he goes right there and says, Oreo. So Oreo is one of my ponies.
Yeah.
He says, Oreo is my best friend, and he's just there hugging Oreo.
This is a really good point. These are clients. What happens when they have to say goodbye? Because these are sessions and they are not actually, the animal is not going home with them. And this is, for Lakshya Munchkin is at home.
Yeah.
What happens when, you're using these animals for therapy and the child gets attached? What happens when that goodbye happens?
So we let the children know, and the schools, the parents also know that they can come back anytime. Okay, and it's not necessarily an absolute goodbye because it's the end of the school year or
Right,
something
right.
like that. But the harder part, or rather the hardest part, is when we actually lose an animal. Okay, and that can be heartbreaking to a normal child, because losing an animal that's been a part of their lives, even if it's not actually living at home with them, they're seeing this animal
Still
several
affects them.
times. It still affects them a great deal. But perhaps it's a good thing. We've seen with a lot of autistic children. It's sad, but also helps the process along. Some of them cannot understand the concept of death.
Does this
Okay.
explain it to them?
No, this does not explain it. It's just that to them, the only way we can explain it is that, okay, the animal has gone somewhere else. They just don't understand the concept of life versus death. And in that sense, they're like, okay, they just get over it and say, okay, now who can I work with? They will keep asking for that particular animal, because it has happened that,
That's also a
I
life
have.
lesson.
Yes,
it
it
is a
is.
life lesson
It is. It
for
is.
all of us, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they just move on. They move on much easier than all of us who don't have those kind of challenges.
Right.
Okay, so in a way, it's a good thing that they don't understand so much. But
Yeah.
then the flip side also happens. They
Yeah.
get so emotionally attached, and when there is a death of any of these animals that they have worked with, we do have to sensitize them a lot. We do have to give them that time to grieve, hold their hands, and help them through that process. But when they are faced with such things, it actually helps them later in life
Absolutely.
a great deal.
It's a life lesson, like
Yeah.
you said. Tushar, on the fact that Munchkin is like a sibling to Lakshya, is there any part of it that he takes care of or handles, or have you noticed that over a period of time, without really, it's not like, oh, I'm going to take Munchkin for a walk. That's not what is necessary. But certain things where has the child kind of, without realizing it, started taking responsibility for and does a bit for Munchkin, which has surprised you, and said that, oh my God, I never thought he would do this.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, it's Munchkin who's the naughtier one. He in fact, he
course.
doesn't want his own toys. He wants only Lakshya's toys. They become so human
Yeah.
that if I'll stop buying toys for him. But if I got something for Laksh, then he would come and button and say, "Okay, now where's my treat?"
But Lakshya is beginning to share with him,
But
and he's not like,
Laksh is becoming, his sense of responsibility is coming in the fact that now when he goes for his martial arts class,
yeah,
which is around the area here only,
yeah,
he will take Munchkin with him on a Saturday morning, say that okay, usko bhi ghuma ke le aate hain. That's what they do because Munchkin is restricted to the house. He's
so
he's a
he
house
realizes
dog.
that
He
he's
realizes.
in the house.
So
Let
sometimes
me take care.
he goes to pick up and drop
Right?
to school because
Yeah.
school is very close by.
Yeah.
So Laksh is looking after him in that aspect.
That's why I said it's not about the taking for walks. It's about having them in the thought and doing the little things. Like for me, one of the biggest lessons for me when Ranveer and Icy came in and when she was puppy and she chewed up his favorite toy. And of course, he was heartbroken about it. And I said, oh, and he said, Mama, but don't say anything to her. And the fact that for me, it was like the fact that he understood that this living being was more important than this non-living toy was what was it all about. And I wouldn't have been able to see that in him and underline that fact to him if I didn't have the dog in the house. It made him so much more empathetic because that's what siblings do. They break your things and you have a fight and then you go back to loving, and that's so normal. But in our households, which are single child households, we find it's so difficult to get that kind of learning
Affection.
across.
He also now, Munchkin keeps taking his toys and tearing them apart. Even if he'll sneak in and quietly take something which is Lakshya's, like maybe something that shouldn't be chewed on, but he'll chew it up. So now Lakshya's consciously sometimes leaving certain toys for Munchkin. Okay, I'm done with this ball. It's like it's not age appropriate for me, so he will now this can go to Munchkin.
Yeah.
And he's also now subconsciously including him when his friends come to play.
Yeah.
He introduces them to Munchkin, and it's quite naturally, not without even thinking that he has to do it for Munchkin.
That's the whole point. That's so beautiful.
It's like a combined play date. It becomes almost like
Yeah.
Munchkin can't do those same things.
Absolutely.
But he will involve him in some way or the other, and Munchkin feels like, okay, mera bhi play date ho raha hai.
Of course, it is his.
So these
play
are
date
things
also.
happening which are not very, very obvious, but you see this kind of a pattern. That's very subtle, but it's like a complete family that way. Yeah,
subtle things, but big learnings
big learning.
in this. Absolutely, yeah. What are the challenges that you have in India? Because, like you said, there are no certifications. What are the training programs? How do you get your trainers? Because we spoke about how do you choose animals who can do therapy. But what about the people who are trainers, who want to be trainers? A lot of people think that I can be. Are they really meant for it? Everybody is not fit for everything.
Absolutely. So, like I said, while we don't have, educationally, while we don't have anyone running programs for certification of animal-assisted therapy or animal-assisted learning in India, there are a lot of, online options.
Do you think those not only the need for it, but people opting for it and coming, saying that I want to learn this, has that grown?
That has definitely grown, but Where we struggle, the biggest challenge I think in India is that this is not a recognized field. Neither is animal assisted learning nor animal assisted therapy per se a recognized field in the country.
So
The
you think
government,
this will need to be recognized by the Ministry of Education?
absolutely, the Ministry of Education and then the animal husbandry, all of these inevitably will have to come together and start recognizing this as a field in order to make it easier for getting these kind of practices into schools, into colleges,
yeah.
into hospitals where it means
Yeah,
therapy and
medical
things like that, into
But I
therapeutic
think medical
centers.
assistance has been accepted, and people that medical assisted therapy dogs for medical uses
Yeah.
is still a lot more recognized. This
No,
educational
when
one
I
is a
say
more
recognized,
new
it also
field.
means the hospitals should actually allow it in, which does
That's
not
true.
happen.
That's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
it has not gotten there as yet. There has
Yeah.
not been that level of recognition as yet.
Yeah.
It's actually working better in terms of schools. So a lot of IB and IGCSE based schools have already understood these kind of alternative learning
Fabulous.
methodologies and bringing them in. And while we've been talking so much about schools and all of that, we actually use horses for educating corporates as well.
Oh, really?
So yes, we run.
Yet again, we come and we realize that it's the elders who need to be educated more than the children.
True. And it's amazing how it works. So we actually do outbound coaching sessions for corporates and for adults using horses as a theme. So we get them to work along with horses. We get them to do different activities along with horses. We do this a lot with adolescents as well. And even with children. We even do it with schools and with children, where they get to observe the horses, they get to work along with the horses, play different games, and we help them then metaphorically connect whatever their feelings and their observations were when they were working along with these animals to how it's working in their own lives or their own work lives.
In the real world.
In the real world, and actually, try and see what they want to change around or how they want to modify the way they work.
In the real world scenario, Tushar, I want to know that as an actor, like stressful lives, you're in a character sometimes, and there's a lot of when you're playing a role and you're carrying it there, and you're coming home to a child, you don't want to really carry it, but it is there. That is part of our job. How have you found Munchkin as a stress buster, maybe, or somebody where you're able to kind of hang that actor robe on a peg and be the person you are? Has it helped you get out of that robe faster?
I don't know how far it's true that the kind of stress that we deal with in our lives today, whether it's as an actor or any other profession, I don't know if you come home, I meet my dog, people say I meet my dog and my stress just evaporates away. I don't think that really happens. I don't think it really evaporates away. But yeah, it does help.
Yeah.
It's a good distraction, and you feel like you're getting a break from whatever was worrying you throughout the day.
Did you know your pet might be the best digital detox buddy? As per the Mars Pet Care and Calm survey, 92% people say their furry friend helps them unplug. 74% scroll less because of their pet, and 93% get nudged to take a break from work. I think I've got the nudge. I'm taking a break from work. See you.
But eventually you have to go and deal with whatever you have to deal with, right?
Of course, we have to, but sometimes,
So it's kind of, it's a very romanticized view. Oh, I have a pet, means I won't have any stress. Yeah.
That is true. A lot of people have a very romanticized view of things, and then thinking that, it's going to be perfect when you have a pet.
Yeah.
And then you realize that, like you said, Munchkin is the naughtier one. So here you're dealing with not one child, but two children. And, so it's a job. I mean, it's not like something that just falls into place. It takes work to be a pet parent.
Yes, what it gives you, I think, more definitely is like a perspective. I think when I come home and I am stressed, and that's at the back of my mind, but you gain some perspective that person or that issue that was nagging you at work or in some personal arena of your life is not the be all and end all.
Yeah.
There are other aspects to your life which are also important, and it's okay to take a break from those issues. So it just gives you some perspective about the wholesome nature of life.
Absolutely.
And then you can come back to that issue and deal with it later, no matter how severe it is or not.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have perspective that you can't just focus on
Yeah.
One thing,
Also,
no matter how painful it is. Yeah.
That's true. Like for me, what happens is I go back tired. Whatever said and done, like my son can be busy, he can be doing something, but IC will always come and, it's a very steady, there's no change in the fact that she will come, she will wag, she will give you the love. So even if I'm carrying something home, it distracts me at that time because I'm playing with her. She'll bring the toy, give me the
And she'll
attention.
insist, no, now I want the affection
Exactly.
now.
So it distracts me at that time, gives me that little breathing space. My child might not be doing that because he's doing his own thing, but the dog always does that. And I feel that kind of helps me get over the stress, gives me that little perspective, and,
Yeah.
I can go back to it later in that sort of a zone. Yeah.
Absolutely. But it is definitely like another child. I mean, my pet, they're so intelligent
They
that
are.
I don't feel like I need another child,
Yeah,
a
I
sibling, a real sibling, because he's like a sibling.
Yeah, he is
And
a
he
sibling.
takes that much time that 5 minutes, if I'm not, I can't even take my coffee in the morning. I can't even take the newspaper or take a bag because he's like, no, now it's me.
What is the most intelligent thing Munchkin has done?
The most intelligent thing. He's, I think recently only I went over to Laksh's breakfast table where he was having breakfast and I was talking to him. He's gone and sat on the chair next to him. He said, I'm also part of the conversation. Literally.
And he's being
He's
part
just sitting there. He's like, okay, we are three. We're not just two. We are three here.
He's pointing that out and underlining that all
Yeah,
the time.
that,
What's the naughtiest thing Munchkin has done?
The naughtiest thing.
Yeah.
I had to cover all my sofas in the living room because I gave him a little more freedom and he used to eat, like most dogs are allowed to eat only on the floor or
Yeah.
downstairs, but he would jump up, he wants to eat near me.
Huh.
So he would take his bone and come up and etc. So eventually I had to just cover all the sofas so that it doesn't get completely messed up because of the dog's usage.
Yeah.
Puppy's usage.
Yeah.
So that's one of the naughtiest things he's done. And besides that, I think I was talking to her also in between shots. He's trained. I have tried all ways and means to train him regarding poop and
Peeing and pooping.
peeing and pooping.
Yeah.
And he has learned how to do it on the newspaper. There's a special mat for him. But he, every now and then, especially when I'm not in town, he behaves like a spoiled child.
But that is where he's actually just letting you know that you're not in town and I'm not liking the fact. Do you think that's
It
what?
could be a little bit of it could be stress, but from what I've seen from Munchkin, he's going around marking his territory.
Yeah.
That is a marking
He's
behavior.
not like, I'll get away with this. It's
Yeah.
okay.
No. It's
No,
marking.
it's more. It's a hormonal thing. He is marking,
yeah.
and what you need to do is just neutralize, the
Yeah.
odor, the odor wherever he does it. And once he doesn't get that smell anymore, he will just keep trying to do it only in the place that he gets
I'll do
the
that.
smell.
I'll take the name
Yeah.
of what this product
Yes,
is.
absolutely.
Yes,
I'll
we
share
would
it
love
with
that.
you. Yeah.
Life lesson today
Yeah, for the puppy that comes, I will be
from the horse's mouth. Literally.
Literally.
literally, yeah. So in any case, yeah. But that's so. Here you have a behaviorist. Do you have any other questions for Subhadra? Because she's a behaviorist, she can solve those problems for you.
Yeah, we have been sent him for mating, and I mean, there is a belief in my family that it's okay. He doesn't need to go get.
He does not need to mate because in animals, honestly, out there in nature, not even 50% of animals will really get to mate in their lifetime.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yes.
this.
And with animals, it's a very physical thing. It's not really an emotional need.
Oh.
Okay, and there are certain challenges with getting them mated as well. If you go out there and have him do it even once, the dog can develop what's called a stud behavior, and even his behavior, his temperament can change a little bit. So these kind of things are always better, handled by professional breeders, okay, rather than us. The dog is losing nothing by not mating in his lifetime.
So should he get neutered or is it fine?
So there
That's
are
like a, kind of a personal question about a dog.
yes. Okay.
Sorry,
so,
Munchkin.
yeah. In the past, they did say that neutering was not something. Wasn't something that would really affect the dog's health in
Yeah,
any
there's a
manner.
belief that they become
Yeah.
healthier or whatever.
Yes, because what can happen is, certain forms of cancer, especially testicular cancer in male
Yes.
dogs and ovarian cancer
Ovarian
and stuff like that in female
That's
dogs.
a rarity.
Yeah, it is. No, it can actually be quite common in certain breeds. Okay, so you can negate that. But then latest studies are showing that there can be, challenges like, the dog becoming a little more prone to ligament tears and, a few, bone deficiencies and things like that after being neutered.
Okay.
Okay, so unless really required,
Avoidable,
it's you'd rather just leave them, the
Clear
way they
so
would
many
be
of my doubts.
naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Munchkin, your secret is out.
Yeah, and you can see that coming on Happy Podcast helps you. Yeah. So yeah, it's
True.
been can I say it's been an educational episode for us.
Therapeutic.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely something that one needs to think about, and
It's a dog's life.
Yes.
and as a pet parent and a parent, I mean, both of us would say that I wish I had this facility, while my child was growing up. Definitely when
Yeah.
I was growing up, I would
Yeah.
probably have been a better student. I genuinely feel that. Hi, darling. Come join us. Munchkin and
nap.
Nicey,
She had a nice
Is that
nap.
a nice
No, no,
nap?
they've
You can see
been-
the sleep
Yeah.
all over
both
her
of them have
face.
been playing. Come,
Huh?
come on. Come on, sit down. Yeah?
She's wondering where's he's away. He's gone there.
What are your dogs called?
I've got 4 dogs and
4 dogs and how
yeah,
many horses?
11 horses.
Wow. What are the 4 dogs
The
called?
4 dogs. The oldest, he's a cross between a Great Dane and a Labrador.
Wow.
He's 8 years old. His name is Sooty because he's jet black with a beautiful Batman patch on his chest.
Oh.
And I call him the real man in my life, the only real man in my life. So he's my bacha, he's my boy, he's my
Yeah.
dude.
So
Then
he's Sooty.
Sooty, and the second one is Peaches.
Oh,
So
nice.
she's a fawn-colored Labrador.
Okay.
She is now 6 years old. She's
Okay.
2 years younger than Sooty. She's a working therapy dog. Yeah.
Nice.
Then I have Phoenix, who's just wild. I mean, he's the cutest little indie you can ever find. He's tiny, really tiny for an indie. He's just about this small. But I don't know what goes on in his head or if it's something to do with his name, but he just leaps straight across 7-foot walls, goes loafing, comes back, just does his own thing, and it's just such a spark around the whole place.
Wow.
And then my youngest is a golden retriever. So her name is Olive.
Okay.
And she's also a working therapy dog. She's just 2 years old now.
Are the
and
Goldens
she's just
easier to
been-
train for therapy?
Goldens are easy, but all of these dogs, there's a lot of work that goes into training them right from the time
Which
that
breed do you think works better?
I can't really say, that one breed works better than another. It's all about the temperament. And we, test them for temperament as, young as 8 weeks.
What do you
And that's
think
where
with
we
Munchkin?
start.
Let's talk about could Munchkin be a therapy dog? What kind of a therapy dog could he be?
I didn't really interact very much with Munchkin,
She
but
found him
what
feisty,
I
though.
yeah, I found him a tad feisty because I tried to touch him and lift him, and he was a little snappy about it.
I
He did
think
not
because
really like it.
It's a new environment for
New
him.
environment,
Too many people.
exactly.
But if you
yes.
came home, he'd come.
he
to
would
you.
be okay. Yeah,
And what about Icy?
Icy is just so peaceful and placid.
And also, you were sitting close to me, so if he doesn't want you taking him away from me. That's his.
Oh, okay.
So if you were
So
touching
that-
him when I am around,
Then he would be a little.
yeah, I don't know how the
jumpy.
psychology works, but somehow he's like, okay, don't take me away from my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, either that or he's probably thinking he's protecting
He's-
you as well.
Yeah,
that can
I think
also happen.
I think with him is more like the
Yeah.
protecting
Yes,
because of the way the nature is, the way he marks
Exactly,
his territory and
yeah.
all. It feels like he could be.
But I
Yeah.
think with a little exposure, he would be a lot better. It is a new setting
Yeah,
for him, a new
absolutely.
environment for him. We can't blame
And
him.
I think they're playing
Yeah.
so well together. but,
Totally.
they're so cute. Yeah,
So please,
they are. Anyway,
and she's okay
we
with
can,
it.
Yeah, we can keep looking at this beautiful sight, and I can watch this the whole day long.
Yeah.
But I must say that it was a very educative experience, and
Thank
it
you.
was so lovely to have both of you on this episode.
Thank you.
And I hope you take away from this episode as much as I take away from it. Thank you to you also for tuning into this episode of the Happy Podcast. If you had as much fun listening as we did creating it, help us spread the positive vibes even further. We've got plenty more tail wagging episodes coming your way. So stay tuned, stay kind, and maybe sneak in an extra treat for your furry friend today. Catch more Possum content on our YouTube channel, Rosepod, and on Instagram at the Happy Pawdcast. Until next time, keep those things lagging and those hearts smiling.